Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. Stare Down greatness, and man, it's hard to believe that on Saturday we are a week away from college football. It's truly just hitting me now, getting it on, because I realized too, like I haven't even given out my college football futures yet this year. So as you can see by the title, that's what we're going to be talking about today in the second half of the episode. Before we get into that, I want to talk about some NFL news and some stuff that is going on in the NFL before we get to that. And I'll probably talk a little bit about just some, my pick for like MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. I'll just give a quick minute or so, like this is why I'm doing it, basically. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be a nice little simple one again, as we are also 20 days away from the NFL. I was trying to think, I'm like, wait, shouldn't we be 21? Because, Thursday and all that. And I'm recording on a Thursday, and I remembered we got a Wednesday game in Australia, man. Crazy. Absolutely. Actually, I think so, right? Or do they, no, they moved the, Patriots, Patriots Seahawks to Wednesday. Yeah. I was sitting there. Either way, I was just sitting there and I was just like, huh, it is 20 days away, huh? Which is just even crazier. So, like I said, let's talk about some news before I head over to the betting portion. But yeah, like I said, let's go over some of the news because honestly, I was gonna go over the bets and all that stuff first, but there's not a whole lot of news. So we'll just talk about the news because that should. Like I said, there's not a whole lot. There's just some kind of quick little stories. Like Chargers, Tyler Biotis is out indefinitely after an ACL injury. He's going to other doctors to see if there's any other injuries as well. But you don't want to say he's out for the full season just yet. But as of right now, I am going to assume that he's going to be out for a decent amount of time. And that is just a very, very tough loss for them. I mean, Harbaugh came on the Pat McAfee show, and he actually was like, damn near at a loss for words describing how losing Tyler was. And you know how much he cares about the offensive line. So if he's talking about how big of a loss that is for them, I mean, losing your center in general 20 days before the season is really tough. Losing a guy you just signed this year in free agency, we're really, really excited for in that time as well. It's just like, man, that sucks. And as for the Chargers, they just can never get healthy with this offensive line. It feels like every year they just have somebody get injured on the offensive line. They just cannot keep it going. Speaking of injuries, another one that sucks. Jaden Higgins is done for the season with a torn ACL, which really, really sucks. He was going to have a prominent role this year. He's probably going to be the number wide receiver two besides Nico Collins. And he was genuinely like, there was a lot of buzz for him having a pretty good year this year. But now, yeah, with him being out, it looks like Tank Dell potentially might step up in that role if he's able to come back from his injuries. I mean, he had two really, really tough injuries, basically back to back. So if he's able to come back, it's going to be awesome. But losing Jaden Higgins, that is a tough loss for this offense because it's going to be a really big year for CJ Stroud. He really needs to. I mean, he doesn't really. I wouldn't say he needs to have a great year, but if he doesn't play well with how good that defense is, it wouldn't be crazy to think that the Texans might consider just moving on from him because. I mean, hey, if their defense is going to be that good and quarterback's one thing holding back, I will say though, for CJ Stroud, like his offensive line has just been absolutely horrible, and they haven't had a run game for a couple years now. Well, I guess they really didn't have it last year. I guess with Joe Mixon was kind of okay the year before, but last year, trash. So maybe with David Montgomery and a renewed offensive line, it might be a little bit better. But either way, big year for CJ Stroud, and it sucks that he will not be having Jaden Higgins on the field. Alvin Kamara is going to be missing at least a month with a sprained MCL. Tough start to the season as well. The Saints are another team dealing with a lot of injuries. Jordan Tyson's going to miss 2 months. Now Alvin Kamara is going to be missing a little bit of time. So that's going to be. I mean, they at least, I think, did get Devin Neal back to practice, and I believe they got another running. I think Kendra Miller, I believe, as well returned to practice potentially. So they should hopefully be able to survive until Kamara's back, but that is a tough blow to the season for them. Seahawks are signing Trevon Diggs to a 1-year deal. I believe it's basically veteran minimum. So apparently, I mean, I was just trying to make sure. So it does sound like the Seahawks still will be signing Terrion Arnold as well, but the plan is for him to be on the exempt list. So it's not like he's going to miss a good chunk of games. They're already planning on getting Trevon Diggs, or maybe this is just a safety precaution. But I'm kind of leaning towards it. Yeah, he might be missing. Terrion Arnold might be missing a good chunk of games. Drew Aller and Howard will split QB reps in the second preseason game against the Jets, so that should be exciting to see another battle between those two to see who's going to win the QB2 spot. A.J. Brown hasn't spoken to Jalen Hurts since the trade. He just said they both want to move forward, basically. Said there's no bad blood. They just both want to move forward, which that's basically almost a nothing story. It's like, yeah, makes sense. Okay. Laporta is dealing with a hip injury currently, and his status for week 1 is apparently unknown. So, apparently Dan Campbell said he got hit in the hip, and it just flared up a little bit, but we feel good about the long term about him. we'll just rest him for a little bit right now and let it calm down. And it just sucks how many guys are getting hurt this year. It feels like it's a lot more. Maybe it's just like this every year. It's just been a full year, so I kind of forget. But it feels like a lot of, especially big name guys, are just dealing with some pretty just unfortunate or just dumb injuries lately. Vita Vea is going to sign a 1 year, $30 million extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yesterday, Adam Schefter, I think it was yesterday or Tuesday, Adam Schefter kind of came on the Pat McAfee show. Well, he did come on the Pat McAfee show, and he basically said that it sounds like things are kind of shifting in Tampa Bay, where originally Vita Vea wanted out. Then it kind of turned into, sounds like him and the Bucks are going to come to a deal after all. Originally, it sounded like he wanted out because there's no deal to be found, and then Schefter, like I said, came on the Pat McAfee show. Was like, actually, sounds like the tides are kind of flipping. It sounds like there's going to be some good faith and some good talks coming. So, sure enough, that happened. He signed a 1 year extension. And for the meantime, he received $6 million in new money this year. Commanders are going to play their starters in the second preseason game, but they are uncertain about Jaden Daniels. A lot of those guys who sat out Miami will get an opportunity to get some work. All obviously different amounts. He did not, like I said, he did not commit to playing Jaden Daniels though. They're dealing with a decent amount of injuries, and it sounds like that Mariota is dealing with the MCL sprain he suffered against. I wonder if it is because of that. Mariota had a kind of a weird injury where he suffered an MCL sprain, so he's going to miss the whole preseason. So maybe they just didn't want to play. I mean, to be fair, Mariota would have been good enough to roll with the ones. So potentially the plan was going to be, let's just roll Mariota with the ones until maybe the third preseason game. Then we'll put in Jaden Daniels and now, but maybe this is blowing it up. No idea, but it sounds like it's kind of up in the air if he's going to play. And the final thing to talk about today is Geno Smith is going to start the second preseason game for the Jets against the Steelers. So it'll be his basically first times doing some action with the New York Jets. So with that being said, let's head over and finish off this NFL portion with, like I said, we're just going to go over some of the bigger arching NFL futures. So I'll kind of give out like my favorite, I guess just like my favorite Super Bowl pick, MVP, all that stuff, and just kind of go where my early leans are for the season. Because I'll admit, I am not hard locked on to anything just yet, but I do kind of have some early leans. So when it comes to the Super Bowl, I'll admit I did sprinkle bet on the Rams just because their roster is so star-studded and talented, but I'll admit, if I had to pick somebody, obviously I also have a bet on the Colts to win the Super Bowl, but that's kind of because I'm a little biased on that one. But looking ahead at some of these other teams, I mean, I don't think I want to go any lower than like Jacksonville, Bears, Bengals, Packers. I mean, Broncos at 20-1 wouldn't be too bad at all. I don't think I'd take the Cowboys. I think if I had to pick somebody truly, I mean, Seahawks at 12-1 to repeat with how good their team is wouldn't be horrible either, but I'll admit, I don't know. I'll admit I came blindly onto the show. This is the one that I've really had like no lean in at all. Every other one I kind of have a lean where I'm leaning towards at least somebody, but this is the one where I like struggle a little bit. It's just like I want to take the Chargers, but they're already dealing with offensive line injuries. Like I said, it might just be the Rams. They're with how just good they are, but it feels like maybe the Buffalo Bills, they can figure something out. They wouldn't be a bad team either. Chiefs at 17-1 too is just not bad odds at all. It feels like they're always a player. Patriots, they're also at 17-1, but I don't want to take the Texans at 17-1 because they're in the Colts division as well. Broncos at 21, I don't mind, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. So I think I just might stick and go chalk and pick. I might just have to take the Rams. I mean, like I said, I only bet on them because their team is so like star-studded and good. If they're able to keep everyone healthy, it's just like there's no reason they shouldn't win the Super Bowl or at least be like in the Final Four or in that final picture. But genuinely, this feels like a year where it's like, yeah, the Bills and Rams, like that's the most that seems like the most realistic matchup to be in the Super Bowl. But NFL is just always weird where something can happen. But hey, maybe it's one of those years. Like maybe last year was a year where it feels like there's every like 4 to 5 years, there's like just one really weird outlier year where something crazy just happens. And in general, for the past 36 straight seasons, at least 4 new teams have made the playoffs. So maybe that means 4 teams that made it last year can't make it this year. And you look at Rams, Bills, Seahawks, Ravens, Chargers, Patriots, they all made it last year. Texans, they made it last year. Who's not going to? So, like I said, I think I'm just going to take the Rams, just kind of go chalky. Because, like I said, genuinely, when it comes to the AFC, it's just like, I'll admit, the AFC is kind of like a wild card. I feel like truly it is going to potentially be a rematch of Rams Seahawks unless injuries does something to both of those teams. Those two teams just kind of truly did separate themselves a little bit especially last year amongst the NFC, and the Rams only got better. The Seahawks made some massive upgrades as well, so I don't know if the Eagles are going to get their Lions maybe, but Cowboys, I mean, potentially if they could figure some things out, there's a lot of good buzz around them. But like I said, AFC wise, that feels like the most wide open league right now, just because of how many talented quarterbacks there are over there, how many teams have pretty decent defenses, and how many decent schedules some of those teams have. So I'll admit that one I'm just gonna go chalk. Spent too much time on it, and we're gonna go with the Rams. As now for the MVP, you're looking at Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Stafford all the way down. I will say one guy I did sprinkle on, Daniel Jones at 100 or 10,000 to 1. Simply, the Colts had the number one offense last year and absolutely buzzing, and now that he is back and seems like all indications are that he's pretty healthy. I mean, who's to say he can't do it again? But I will say, I'm probably not going to give that one out. I think if I'm going to take anybody, I mean, Lamar and Josh Allen are not horrible options at all. I almost kind of want. I hate to say this, I truly do, but Trevor Lawrence might not be a bad option. If he can just stay away from like kind of the bad stuff that he tends to do, because there's always, just with him, there's just like a little bit of like little too risque, and he makes a couple bad plays or two. But it seems like the Jags are gonna be a really damn good team this year. But I mean, if I had to predict, I guess I would probably go. I mean, I don't think I want to take Herbert just because of already their offensive line issues. Drake May was right there in year 2. Who's to say he can't officially take another step in year 3 and become that guy? But Lamar Jackson is not a bad one either. They have a pretty decent schedule too. I think I'm gonna end up taking Lamar Jackson just right now, simply for the fact that their schedule is pretty damn decent. So we might be able to get. I mean, it is the NFL, so you can only go obviously. You can only say they're so easy, but at the same time, they do have some teams that like they could potentially beat up on. So I kind of want to lean Lamar Jackson, but Matt Stafford going back not a horrible option either. They basically have this as, other than Josh Allen being plus 650, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford are all literally within. I mean, 850 plus 900 plus 900. So I think I would lean Lamar Jackson, but at the same time, this is preseason. I would not be shocked if I change this in like a month or two. I haven't bet this award at all, like I said, other than sprinkling Daniel Jones just simply for an amazing season he had last year. I think it was like $7 or $10 to win either 700 or 1,000. Like it was a literal sprinkle because it could be a possibility. With how many years that I've come on the show and talked about the Colts and put them higher than they have been, I'm just gonna let this be a year where I'll talk about placing the bets and I'll talk about it, but I'll let it float out there for a little bit. So either you can let it pass in the wind or maybe do something with it. Because I'll admit, they should be good this year, but man. It's every year with that goddamn team. Anyway, let's go to the offensive player of the year. Jamar Chase is a bad option. This is one where, yet again, sprinkle Jonathan Taylor at 20 to 1 because when the Colts win, he goes off. But I would think that Jahmyr Gibbs at plus 650 is not a bad option because now that he's going to be the number one back in Detroit, he might be able to just go absolutely insane. Bijan Robinson, I think, is going to get hindered a little bit by just the Tua or Michael Penix situation. Quarterback play might just hurt his stats just a slight little bit. I mean, he's still going to be a stud and have great stats, but I just don't trust in that quarterback situation, so that does make me nervous. Jamar Chase is not a horrible option at all. Puka Nacua, yet another not horrible option. It just feels like it might go. I mean, I went to JSN last year with how much of a stud he was, but I have a feeling it might go back to the running back this year, so I think I would take Jahmyr Gibbs or Jonathan Taylor. I think those are the two I'm going to choose. Same, like I said, Bijan Robinson, I don't mind that at all. It's just for the simple fact that he's truly dealing with a very shite quarterback situation. But he's going to do probably really good for that team, to be honest. Defensive player of the year, I mean, Gallery is plus 400. Will Anderson's plus 750. And then you got Aiden Hutchinson, Nick Bonito, Max Crosby. Hella pass rushers. I mean, it's hard not to take Myles Garrett, right? I mean, especially with the Rams are going to be ahead now. He's going to be playing with leads. I mean, I got to give out Myles Garrett. I'm probably going to try to bet somebody else because there is not enough value at all in Myles Garrett. It's only plus 400, but like I said, he's going to be playing for a lead for the first time in his career now, so it's going to go probably pretty well for him. Good chance it's going to be an edge rusher as well for Defensive Player of the Year, so pretty much it's kind of just like, hey, pick the edge rusher you think might do the best. Like Matt Crosby, 22-1. Not, might not be bad for a sprinkle. Like, I generally might sprinkle that one just for the fact that Max Crosby is going to be playing on a Raiders team that might be pretty, like, they might not win a ton of games, but they might end up being a little bit feistier than a lot of people think. So that could help with the situation a bit. But like I said, it's just hard not to take Myles Garrett, especially with that Ram situation he's going into, especially if Aaron Donald's going to be there. Yeesh, man. For Rookies of the Year, Jeremiah Love's not a bad one. Fernando Mendoza. Jadrian Price, he's shot up a lot, which really sucks. That was one guy I was kind of looking at. Carnell Tate's not a bad one. I think Carnell Tate is one I'm going to sprinkle just for the. It just sucks that Jadrian Price is plus 550. I think his odds were a little bit better way later in the offseason, but I don't think that's a bad option at all. Carnell Tate's a good one as well, but I think it's Denzel Boston was another one I was going to sprinkle just because it seems like he's going to be a pretty damn good player as well. Yeah, Denzel Boston or Jadrian Price were like the two main ones I was kind of looking at. I just don't think Fernando Mendoza is going to play enough games. I mean, if he starts the year right away, good chance. I mean, that could be his awards. That might be. If you think he's going to start a good within the first like 4 to 5 games, him being Rookie of the Year might not be a bad play at all. But Jeremiah Love, it just sucks for him. He's going to be playing on a terrible team. So Carnell Tate, he's going to be playing on a pretty bad team, but he might be able to get enough stats because he seems like, one, he's a stud, and two, he's the main wide receiver there. But Jadrian Price, plus 550. Carnell Tate plus 550 and Denzel Boston plus 22-1. Those are the three guys I'm mainly looking at. And then you got Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, as of right now, I'm taking Ruben Bain. All the videos I've seen of him in the offseason, just love it. Love it, man. So that's basically why I'm I lied. I did bet Caleb Downs as well for Rookie of the Year because I do think he's going to have a pretty damn good season as well. So Ruben Bain and Caleb Downs are the two players. I am going to bet Ruben Bain. I already did bet Caleb Downs. Already bet Caleb Downs. I probably will be sprinkling a little bit of Ruben Bain after this last little bit I've seen from the offseason. So NFL Comeback Player of the Year, Patrick Mahomes plus 200. I mean, if we're being real, they were already kind of bad last year. 1. 2, he kind of got hurt in week 15. So it's kind of like, Aaron Donald, he's just coming back from retirement. So we can just kind of exclude Aaron Donald. Patrick Mahomes, that one feels like a little bit Kyler Murray, yet another one. He was injured, I guess, a little bit last year, but that's another one. He was just playing bad. Jaden Daniels actually did legitimately deal with some injuries, yes. Malik Neighbors and Daniel Jones are the main two. Malik Neighbors should start week 1. That might not be a bad one. But Daniel Jones, Malik Neighbors, Tucker Kraft, those are the main three that I'm looking at. Tucker Kraft especially because I'm probably going to end up sprinkling Tucker Kraft. I took a little preseason bet tonight. If that hits, I'm probably sprinkling Tucker Kraft. And like I said, Daniel Jones, if he's a stud, he's going to be like he was last season. It sounds like he's pretty healthy. I mean, he could have a really damn good season. But overall, the Tucker Kraft one, I mean, he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiving tight end, and he's going to be a huge part of that offense. So I think that if he's able to be ready to go by week 1 and get it rolling, I mean, that'd be an awesome one. So I am going to sprinkle that one at least a little bit because, like I said, if he's rolling by week 1, I think just regardless, you might be able to get decent cash out options at least by the end of the year because when he was playing, I mean, they used him in the offense, and the offense was looking good. And then, like I said, the other one I'm probably going to take is the Daniel Jones. I don't mind Malik Neighbors, but I'm probably going to take Daniel Jones just simply for the fact that a little bit of bias and the fact that he was playing really damn good last year. If he's able to put up those numbers again, and he's going to lead the NFL in like passing and touchdowns, or even be like 2 or 3, I mean, probably a good chance he can win Comeback Player of the Year. Coach of the Year, you got John Harbaugh, Jesse Minter, Kevin Stefanski, Kellen Moore, Joe Brady. I kind of like Kellen Moore a little bit, 14-1. Joe Brady won't be a bad one either. But I might come back to this award on Tuesday and let you know. I need to do a little bit more research into this one. But I think Jesse Minter might not. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Kevin Stefanski. Kellen Moore, I don't mind. Joe Brady, it's his first year, so I'm curious to see. Brian Schottenheimer might not be. Brian Schottenheimer is probably where I'm going to stop on the list. Clint Kubiak wouldn't be a horrible one. Like, if he got the Raiders to the playoffs, good chance maybe he can win it. I'll have to look a little bit more into this one because this kind of award is just kind of turned into the team that was kind of bad last year and then made a turnaround, and now they're pretty good and made the playoffs. So if I can find like nail or 2 or 3 teams where I think that like Jesse Minter wouldn't be a bad one for them. John Harbaugh, those are the reason those two are favored. It's because those two teams were a little bad. First year coaches might be able to turn it around. So I would lean towards. I think Jesse Minter wouldn't be a bad one. I think that's who I'm just going to pick for now because Ravens have a pretty decent schedule. Probably a good chance they win a decent amount of games this year. So we're going to say Jesse Minter for now, but I'm going to do a little bit more research and come back for this one. But that's going to do it for the NFL portion. So I'm going to end it off this show with some of my favorite college football bets, part one. And then, like I said, I'm going to bring back part two either Tuesday or Thursday next week. The ones I'm going to give out today are basically, I'll admit, some of them are in two legs because like they're minus 180s or minus like, I think like 170. So if there's something I put like a minus 170, minus 180 together if I really, really liked it, which I'll admit I don't enjoy, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to bet a minus 180, and I also don't want to take an extra game when I can just have this number. So I'll admit there's a couple numbers I'm giving out, not the biggest fan of, but overall, there are a good amount of college games I have already bet, and I'm excited to take. So I figured, hey, we're 9 days away. We'll be 7 days away on Saturday, so I probably will give out the rest of my college bets on Tuesday. I got like 2 more videos I want to watch about some college football stuff, and then I think I'll have it rounded out. So all the ones I'm giving out today are like my main favorite bets that I've already taken, and then we'll come back on Tuesday and give out some of the other ones I'm going to add to the slip as a final last notice. So we'll start out with Georgia Tech over 6.5 wins is plus 118. I kind of like their home schedule. I will admit they have to win a good amount of their home games to hit this, but it makes me a little bit nervous. But I do like them overall to get to 7-5 at least. It does suck that I think that Baby Mendoza is going to do pretty decent for them. Jamal Haynes does come back, so that is or excuse me, sorry, they bring in Justice Haynes. They lost Jamal Haynes last year to, I believe, the draft. They brought in Justice Haynes. Excuse me. Which he should be hopefully should be pretty decent for them if he can stay healthy. So I do like that. They have the talent to do it. A little bit nervous about the defense, but overall they should be pretty decent. West Virginia over 5.5 wins. That, like I said, that one's minus 170. So I'm gonna pair it. I've paired it with some other stuff, but I genuinely do like that. I like for West Virginia to go like 7-5 this year. I do like for them to make a bowl. They had quarterback issues last year that really, really killed them. They might play 1 or 2 quarterbacks again this year, but a lot more of their team is like depth wise is filled out and rounded out, doing a little bit better. So, like there's a lot more positions that basically I have a lot more faith in. So I am going to be looking forward to West Virginia at least going, like I said, I think they can at least go 7-5, make a bowl. I wouldn't be shocked by 8-4, but I do like for them to hit over that 5.5 because, like I said, I do think they have a better roster than they did last year. And quarterback does still worry me a bit, but that play, I believe, should also be better than what they've had in the past. We're going to take Iowa State under 5.5. That's another one, like I said, I'm probably ended up pairing that one with the West Virginia one. I think that's what I actually did on one of the books. But that one's minus 220, so like I said, horrible. I mean, it's been absolutely nuked into oblivion, but if you look at their schedules, they're probably going 4-8. I mean, and even if they do get the 5 wins, I don't see them winning 6 games. And there's been a lot of other people that I enjoy and follow that have also said they do not see them winning 6 games. So I enjoy Iowa State under 5.5. They also just lost their coach and a lot of players to Penn State. So this is a team that, yeah, they're missing a couple guys. That's going to be really, really tough. Not even a couple guys. They're missing all their guys, and they're missing the coach that made them kind of relevant. So it's probably going to be a tough year for them. I like that under there. Minnesota over 5.5 wins, minus 160. I absolutely love that. I think PJ Fleck has been at least won 7 games in every. No, I think it's something around there where PJ Fleck has won 7 games basically every year he's been there, or it's something where like 7 out of 9 times, something like that, they've gone hit their over. Regardless of something, it's some stat. I'll admit I forget. I should have wrote it down. Where they hit their over basically almost every year with PJ Fleck, and over 5.5 is not too bad at all. Drake Lindsey's a super talented quarterback, so if he's able to come up into his own, then over 5.5 is way too low for that team. Arkansas under 4.5. It's minus 170. Similar situation, like I said, where I see them probably not winning over 4 games. So the fact that we get 4.5 is kind of perfect because there's a reason it's also minus 170. They just have a tough conference schedule and tough where they play some teams is kind of tough. So Probably going to be a rough year for them, so I like that under. BYU over 8.5. I enjoy the fact that they probably are going to go 9-3. They do have a couple tough games, but they should go 9-3. If you look at that schedule, if they don't go 9-3, it's going to be a disappointing season for them. So I like for them to do that. I bet Notre Dame to win the national championship. Partially biased, won't lie, but also they have a pretty decent schedule and they should be pretty good this year. I sprinkled on Darian Minso to win the Heisman. This was because I did sprinkle Brendan Sorsby to win the Heisman, but obviously, as you see, that one kind of fell through. Kind of annoyed that I still haven't got my cash back yet on that Brendan Sorsby bet. I mean, what are we doing? But I did sprinkle Darian Minso for the time being. Probably going to sprinkle CJ Carr as well, because those are just two guys I think are going to have pretty decent years this year. So why not just take both guys? Like, that's probably going to be another one where if that preseason bet hits, I probably will end up betting CJ Carr tonight as well. And then the final couple ones I want to talk about today. We already talked about Minnesota. We talked about West Virginia. We talked about Arkansas. I kind of like Maryland over 4.5. I think they're going to be a bit better of a team this year, but after the ride we had last year with them where they won 4 straight and then win a game the whole rest of the year, probably going to stay away from that one. Ah, man, you want to talk about You want to talk about being hurt, man. That one hurt the soul. And I guess the last two we'll talk about Texas Tech over 10.5. This is actually, you know what? This is a two-legger I did make. It's plus 100. Or sorry, it'd be plus 109. Texas Tech over 10.5 wins, minus 190. Notre Dame over 10.5 wins, minus 270. These are both teams that potentially can go undefeated, but at the minimum should go 11-1 if they do what they should do this season. I mean, there's a chance they could maybe slip up and go 10-2, but 11-1 is realistically and probably should be a thing both these teams are doing when it comes to next season. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Really do appreciate it. I'll be back next week to talk some wow. It just hit me. We'll be giving out some college futures on Tuesday. Go over some more NFL news from training camp, preseason games. Talk about some more injuries if they happen. All that fun jazz. But on Thursday next week, first one of the year, we're giving out some picks and some bets for college football week 0. Really, really excited for that. And that just means we're that much closer to pick them again. I just got sent the link from my uncle, so can't wait for pick 'em, man. Fantasy's around the corner here too. Your boys are back-to-back defending champ in fantasy. Praying we can go for the 3-peat, we'll see. But like I said, just kind of hit me like how close we are to football again, man. Chills, absolute chills. But everyone enjoy the weekend. We got some playoff golf happening. WNBA's going off. We got baseball as well. All sports are kicking off. We got some preseason action as we get ever so closer to college football and the NFL.